The last thing Madara wanted to do was be stuck in the capital. The last thing he wanted to do was deal with Lord Alderp and his nonsense. But sadly enough for Madara, when it came to living in this world, he found himself doing a lot of things that he didn't want to do. The team of Madara, Tobirama, Jiraiya, Kazuma, Aqua, Megumin, and Darkness found themselves in the home of Lord Alderp, as they were going to be doing a little old-fashioned stakeout, waiting for the noble thief to arrive. Of course, for Madara and for the other shinobi in this party, this was nothing more but a standard guard mission for them. It was as routine as the sunrise and the sunset. When you come from another world where you have to guard a lot more powerful people from a lot more dangerous people, trying to guard some rich guy from having his stuff stolen doesn't seem like much of a big deal. But of course, for Madara, he just hated all of this. And the others weren't helping very much. Tobirama, while being sound in mind, body, and reason, was always putty in the hands of Aqua. Whatever she wanted, he was willing to go with. Then there was Darkness, who was surprisingly sane, although that mainly came from her trying to protect the name of the Dustinus family, as she had a lot more at stake. Megumin was the same hyperactive, knuckle-headed crimson demon mage that she'd always been. And for Kazuma, he was a mixed bag. And Jiraiya, well, he basically followed behind Darkness everywhere he went. That left Madara practically on his own. But still, catching a thief shouldn't have been that big of a deal. So why were they having such a hard time? At least from what he had seen, even the most skilled adventurers in this world weren't anything to write home about. The supposed legends, the tried and trues as they were. In Madara's eyes, they were no different than your average Genin or Chunin. Impressive? Yes. Capable? Maybe. But still, it was nothing that he or his compatriots couldn't handle. So in the end, this shouldn't have taken too long. Of course, there was also something else Madara wanted to go over. The current levels of the group, mainly focusing on the top 4. First, there was himself, who currently stood at a level of 31, with Tobirama following behind at level 29. Jiraiya was a decent level 25, and Kazuma, the boy who they had begrudgingly taken under their wing, was still hovering at level 15. Everyone had their strengths and weaknesses as they became acclimated to this new world, as they basically had to raise up their levels through grinding, finding different dungeons, defeating monsters, to basically unlock their jutsu. It wasn't that they didn't know how to perform it, it was that their bodies physically couldn't allow them to do it. Madara had to get higher levels just to unlock his Sharingan and other jutsu. And it was similar for Jiraiya as well as Tobirama. As for Kazuma, he had the distinct ability of learning anything from the others, but it would be on a weaker level given his current state. So, that was basically the gist of the matters. And there was still also the lingering issue of Hashirama, to find out where he was in this world. Safe to say, there were a lot of elements that were in play at the moment, and for Madara, he found all of it to be rather annoying, but also mildly intriguing. Of course, staying with Lord Alderp, it posed its own challenges. For one, the Fat Lord was, well, just as much of a perv as Jiraiya, or maybe even Kazuma. He even had a one-way mirror room to spy on the maids and those who were bathing. Safe to say, it was one of the few moments where Jiraiya and Lord Alderp could see eye to eye, although this camaraderie would be short-lived when Darkness discovered what was going on. As for Madara, he and Tobirama would take point on this mission, as they were going to be the ones who were probably going to be doing the heavy lifting, save for Jiraiya whenever he wasn't chasing a skirt. As much as I hate working with you, Tobirama would say, I feel like we can both agree that we are the best capable on this mission, and we're going to be the ones who will have to find this thief. Yes, Madara would say. The thief has to be capable, especially if they can make idiots of the people in this world. I have to agree with you on that. But still, what type of thief do you think we're up against? What level do you think they're going to be at? I doubt it's anything all that high. We're dealing with a bunch of spoiled, rich trust fund slackers who have no concept of duty, honor, or any form of self-worth far beyond what their money can buy them. In the end of the day, we're babysitting a bunch of overgrown children and some thief that's taking advantage of them. It won't take us long to figure out who it is, and once we've done that, we'll just have to make short work of capturing them and returning anything that's been stolen. Based on your level, how many shadow clones can you use? I imagine that you can't spam them like Naruto could. No, I can't. And that boy was able to take the jutsu that I made and do things that I couldn't possibly imagine. I'd say at most I can make about 7 or 8 shadow clones. I can use them to patrol the grounds of Lord Alderp's estate, or maybe send 1 or 2 out into the city to gather intel. But right now, I think our best strategy is just to lay low here at the manor. Sooner or later, the thief is going to make their move. We have them outnumbered, and the odds are in our favor. I would suspect that the only thing that could potentially get in our way is the potential of a Devil King's attack. You think that he's going to use the chaos to make his move? Madara would ask. It would be the wisest decision. After all, the ability of making a move within the move, it's like something out of our playbook. If this thief is worth their weight, then chances are they're going to make their move when the capital's on high alert from something else, thinking that we're all distracted. But since our focus is going to be on the thief, then we're going to catch them off guard. Fine. The sooner we can catch the thief, the sooner we can put them away, and then the sooner we can go home. For the next week, Madara and Tobirama would stay vigilant. Jiraiya would help out from time to time. He would use his toads that he had made contracts with, sending them out and about on the border, protecting from any of the Devil King's armies, helping wherever they could. Kazuma would assist, along with he and Megami going around town looking for clues. But of course, Kazuma mainly followed Megumin because whenever she had to practice her explosions, someone had to carry the poor girl home. Then there was Aqua, who spent the whole week getting drunk on Alderp's bubbly. Safe to say, she was drinking him out of house and home. For Madara, he just stayed vigilant. It was always about patience in these sort of matters. The thief was going to come sooner or later, that much was clear. It was only a matter of when and not if. Eventually, though, on one fateful night, the thief finally struck. But who Madara was expecting to find, well, it wasn't at all who he expected. In the shadows, he heard 2 people scuffling. One voice sounded like Kazuma, and there was another one that was quite distinct and recognizable. For Madara, at first, he thought that it was just his imagination, but if he didn't know any better, he could have sworn that he heard that familiar voice. It was her. Of course, to everyone in this world, they knew her as Chris, but Madara recognized her as someone else. The scar didn't do a good job at hiding her identity. Eris? Huh? Chris said, looking around. Who knew? Kazuma seemed to be pretty dense, but it was him. Chris had been following the group. Trying to get her hands on a particular item that was in their possession. A few of the items. After a small scuffle, Madara had her pinned to the ground with not much effort. Hey, let me go! Please, I didn't mean any harm. So you're the noble thief. What exactly is a goddess doing here on Earth? A goddess? Kazuma said. Come on, that's Chris, the thief from the Guild of Axel. You really are dense, aren't you? Huh? Take a close look at her. Tell me, what do you see? A girl with a scar? No! It's Eris, the goddess that took Aqua's place in heaven. Wait, hold on. Kazuma was playing both of the images side by side in his mind. Chris, Eris, Chris, Eris, Chris. Oh my God, it's her. I told you. How? How did you know my identity? How wouldn't I know your identity? How stupid do you think I am? Do you think that I'm some background character that can't recognize someone just because they affected their look a little bit? I mean, come on. I've seen people use better genjutsu and I could still see through it even without my Sharingan. Seriously, just who in the hell do you take me for? Okay, point taken. No way. You're saying that Chris? Eris? Hey. What's going on? Tobirama and Jiraiya quickly arrived, and they immediately recognized who the girl was. It was Eris. Sure, they hadn't met her in heaven, but they had seen the statues of the goddess, and it wasn't difficult to point out the similarities. Of course, if you asked anyone in this world, they'd call you an absolute lunatic. After all, there were statues of the goddess Aqua everywhere, and people still couldn't tell that Aqua was really the goddess of water. So, it just goes to show that the IQ of people in various worlds aren't really that high. But, as Jiraiya would point out, there was a fat-ass face of Minato in the Hidden Leaf Village, and it seemed like no one could tell that that was Naruto's dad, even though they were the spitting images of each other. But that was besides the point. They now knew that Chris, aka Eris, was the noble thief. But now, the question was why? So why have you been stealing, Eris? Madara would ask. And what exactly were you after? If you'll let me go, I promise I'll explain. It's not like I could take you all in a fight anyhow. It doesn't mean that I trust you. Madara, she's obviously not a threat, Tobirama said. That's easy for you to say. She's been trying to deceive us. She's a god with power. That's not something to be taken lightly. But I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm just trying to set things right. Set things right, Tobirama would say. What do you mean by that? Look, Aqua, she's made a grave mistake. She's just been giving out weapons willy-nilly to anyone that comes by. I mean, we tried to look over this offense for a while now, and yes, defeating the Devil King was of top priority, but it's gotten too far. I'm not one to normally point out Lady Aqua's mistakes, but she's made some dire ones, especially with people from your world. From our world? Chris would explain. Normally, when it comes to people moving on to the next life, they typically get reincarnated, or they move on to the heavenly realm, or sometimes they go to places that aren't so kind. It's basically a long road in the afterlife, and there are many different paths that one can go down. For this world in particular, it had a lack of heroes, and evil was on the rise. Now, your world is just one of many, but your world fell under Aqua's jurisdiction. She basically read through a laundry list of you shinobi, and she just picked the most powerful ones and sent them here, thinking that it would give them some sort of redemption, or that one of you would just become strong enough to kill the Devil King. I overlooked this for a while, but Lady Aqua has made a grave mistake. And what's that? Tobirama asked. She's given out sacred weapons and to some very dangerous people. Some of them more powerful than others. And with all due respect, there are some shinobi who never walked the finest path in life. I mean, to be honest, I was going to have to make a move eventually. I hate to say it, but I was kind of lucky that you didn't pick one, Madara, and that instead you were vain enough to pick Aqua as your weapon. So what's that supposed to mean? Madara said. You're saying that you don't trust me that much. Well, I'm sorry, but what do you expect? You're essentially a war criminal who's killed thousands, if not hundreds of thousands. You created conflict unlike any other. That's not something that can be easily overlooked. Madara, Jiraiya said. No, it's fine. I never claimed to be a saint anyway. So what? You had that sacred tool, well, you know, the hammer that grants infinite wealth. That's what you were looking for? Madara said, fishing it out of his bag. This thing? Yes, I'm collecting it. All the weapons that Aqua's given, they're dangerous in this world. If that's the case, then why were you handing them out? Because we believe that when used properly, they could aid this world in the fight against the Devil King. But now there are so many in this world, with less than savory people out here trying to use it. Because of that, you want to take them off the board. It's not that I don't think you all could defeat the Devil King. I believe you have the power to. But what happens after? With these sacred and powerful weapons in the world, it's only going to lead to more conflict. It's a lot like the Biju in our world, Tobirama said. Exactly. They'll eventually be used against each other. People will fight and claw for power. It's in their nature. And you think you know nature? I know it enough to know that it's dangerous. Even as we speak, there are dark forces that are gathering around this land. It's not something to be taken lightly at all. Please, I need your help. Our help? Kazuma said. No. We can't get involved in this. Huh? Look, every time we get involved in world-ending stuff, bad things happen. Specifically to me, okay? And I don't know about you, but dying isn't fun. And I'm not trying to die again. And now you're saying that there are some evil shinobi from another world who got reincarnated with special magical weapons who could basically become mini devil kings in their own right. No. We can't get involved in this. We don't have a choice, Kazuma, Tobirama said. For better or for worse, we're the ones most capable of putting an end to all of this. Besides, you said you wanted to become a shinobi, didn't you? Well, being a shinobi means you can't turn away when bad things happen. You have to go forward. See things through till the end. Even as we speak, there are 4 of them that are on their way. They're known as the bringers of the apocalypse, the day rise. They are the personal hit squad to the Devil King. Personal hit squad? I've been tracking their whereabouts for a while. The weapons they have are oddly specific to the powers that they had in their old world. But they have caused death and destruction everywhere they've gone. The alarm would begin to ring all through the capital, alerting to the coming of the Devil King's army. I can feel their presence. They're here, even now. They're what? Who are they? They're shinobi. Like you, they came from your world. They're dangerous, ruthless, bloodthirsty. They won't stop until they've completed their mission. Aqua sent them to this world thinking that they would repent, but they've done far from that. And now, they've pledged their loyalty to the Devil King. I'm begging you. You have to help me stop them. Fine, Madara said. Feels like this is our mess anyhow, so we have to clean it up. If you know so much about them, then who are they? What Chris said next would send a shiver down all of their spines. But to Madara in particular, because this group of shinobi, these rogues, they were so brash that they even brought their old name with them. But it was a name that Madara was very familiar with, because now he would come into conflict with a monster of his own creation. They are the hit squad to the Devil King. They call themselves the Akatsuki. This concludes Konosuba, the last shinobi of the wonderful world. What if Madara Uchiha was reincarnated in Konosuba, Season 3, Part 4. As always, if you enjoyed today's video and everything else that we have to offer, then please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and hit that bell for post notifications so you can stay up to date on everything that is PowerCore Productions and Podcastings that has to come out now and in the future. Stay tuned next time as we continue with Konosuba, the last shinobi of the wonderful world. What if Madara Uchiha was reincarnated in Konosuba, Season 3, Part 5. But anyway, that's going to do it for the end of today's video. I'm Javon Harrington with PowerCore Productions and Podcastings, signing off, and I'll see you next time.